guys? Salute y'all. All right, let's get into it. So today is Tuesday, August 24th. Happy Kobe Day. 8/24. People on the West know what it is. So I did want to briefly go over the companies that are going public. We're going towards the last few companies that are going public. In terms of earnings calls, I mean, companies that are announcing what they did last quarter. I've been going over this the last almost month, and a lot of companies have jumped up. So hopefully you guys are taking this information and running with it. But Best Buy actually did their earnings call earlier today. That stock has shot up since then. The other two ones that you guys may be familiar with is Nordstrom. Most people know about Nordstrom and Urban Outfitters. Clothing company. Mostly the companies that are going doing their earnings calls are holdings companies. Um, Once again, to get the information on the companies that are going doing their earnings calls today, you can just tap into Nasdaq.com. But those are the main companies. But there's about 30 companies doing their earnings call. Best Buy is the biggest one, but in terms of clothing, once again, Urban Outfitters and Nordstrom's. So in terms of the market today, market looks good. Market's doing upward strand. The reason why it's going up today is pretty simple. It's simply because the FDA approved the Pfizer vaccine. Now, this is a good thing for stocks, but it might be shitty for regular people like me and you. Now, the reason why I say that is because now that they actually have a company that has fully been approved by the FDA, it does give a lot of companies a lot more leeway to mandate vaccines because they can say, oh, well, the people who didn't want to take it because it was listed as an emergency vaccine, that worry is no longer an issue anymore. This has been approved by the FDA, which means we can trust that it's something that's going to be legitimate. Now, keep in mind, this is only for people 12 years old and up, so it still doesn't apply to people in, you know, 12 below. But for people who actually have a 9 to 5, it does justify that some of these companies can make you take a vaccine before actually going into the office. So even though it sucks because they might try to hit us with that card, uh, you know, I'm seeing that restaurants are starting to make it to where they might have to show vaccine cards. Airlines are going to make it to where you might have to show vaccine cards. None of these things are in stone, but a lot of this stuff is being spoke about. And being that this FDA approval actually went through for Pfizer, which once again, if you own that stock, that's a good thing. But in the long term, what that means for regular human beings is they're going to start making people take vaccines. And it's going to get to the point where if these numbers don't go down, they're going to make all of us take vaccines. So it sucks from that perspective, but from a business perspective, it makes it to where companies feel a lot safer about staying open. Because that's really what it comes down to from an investment standpoint. The reasons why companies crashed last year was because they couldn't stay open. So, this vaccine FDA approval makes it to where companies are going to feel a lot more comfortable about opening up their doors and maximizing their capacity for the people who are actually vaxxed. So, catch 22, but if you're wondering why, that is why. So about Coinbase, we spoke like 2 or 3 months ago how they were having like some major, customer service issue. Now, for most people who have cryptocurrency, they normally only have it on a couple different platforms. They either have it on Coinbase, Binance, maybe eToro. Some people use crypto.com. I personally use Coinbase. So, when I heard this news, it kind of fucked me up too. But they actually have articles on a few different websites talking about they're dealing with some major customer service issues. There's actually a story specifically about this lady who she just went on her fucking Coinbase account one day and seen that $168,000 worth of crypto was just removed from her fucking account, and she was trying to get in touch with customer service, and they never got back with her. So could you imagine that shit? Could you imagine just waking up, checking your Coinbase, thought you had 160 bands in that bitch, and you wake up and the motherfucker's just empty? I couldn't even imagine that shit. Like I couldn't imagine somebody walking around owing me $1,000 thinking shit's sweet. You know what I'm saying? But for somebody to just take 160 and then not even answer my calls, yo, that shit is OD. I ain't gonna hold you. But the reason why I say this is that it's come to light that Coinbase has over the last few years had over 11,000 complaints. Not as many as Binance, but still a lot. And this is what happens when you're dealing with crypto companies, which in reality crypto, especially Bitcoin, nobody really runs Bitcoin. It's a community thing. So if you get fucked up in Bitcoin, there's really nobody to call. See, this is the part of deregulation when it comes to cryptocurrency that people are not understanding of. Like, yeah, it's not regulated by the banks right now, but part of regulation by banks means that if something happens with your money, you can actually call that bank to get shit right. This is the risk of dealing with deregulation. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole getting regulated, it may suck for the people who are doing black market moves, but for the people who are looking to keep this shit long term, it's going to end up being a benefit long term, because having the regulation means that if something like this happens, you're protected. She's not protected. Kind of just is what it is. But I say that to say that Coinbase has actually responded, saying that they have invested millions of dollars into customer service since going public, which I mean, that wasn't no more than a few months ago. So we'll just look to see how things go. You know, this is something that you guys can easily Google in terms of, Coinbase customer service issues. Once again, I have thousands of dollars, not 168,000 worth of crypto, but I got tens of thousands in crypto. So I can, it kind of made me nervous, but I heard this exact same thing in Binance where they had customer service issues. So, there's other platforms that you can maybe look into in terms of crypto platforms like eToro, crypto.com, things of that nature. But, maybe just keep an eye out for it. That's all I'm going to say. Keep an eye out for it. But I will say that this article is actually based on some shit that happened last year. Um, but it's just coming to light now. But they have said that, spokespersons did say that they are working on customer service and still be and soon rolling out more channels in terms of customer service. Um, that's their thing. And really it just came down because the demand became bigger than they thought was going to be. So it wasn't like this place been on some bullshit. It's just that it's blown up so fast, so quick. They just didn't know how to handle it once it got to that point, according to them. I mean, you got to take this shit with a grain of salt. Whoever's saying this is probably some white man that neither of us have none of us have ever seen in life. So you have to take this shit with a grain of salt. But that's what's going on with Coinbase. Once again, I do recommend that you guys just take a couple seconds and just Google this if you have money in Coinbase, just so you can know what's going on. I'm not saying that Coinbase is about to, die or anything, because if anything, Coinbase is up today. Like, it's not like they're, obviously people aren't affected by this, but it's just important to know what's going on in the financial world. If you have money in Coinbase, just know, do your research on it. But that's pretty much it for today, y'all. I mean, y'all see what's going on with crypto as a whole. I ain't gonna say I told you niggas so. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna tell y'all I told y'all so. I'm not gonna tell y'all that last month I told y'all that at 29,000 y'all was supposed to buy Bitcoin because it was gonna go back up because this whole China thing was temporary. I'm not gonna do that. So we'll just talk about more about that on Wednesday. Shout out to my Patreon guys. Man, if y'all hopped on some of these things that I've been talking about on Patreon the last couple weeks, there's no way you haven't ran a bag up. And from a business standpoint, I want to make sure we're clear for the people who actually have LLCs. You signing up to my Patreon is something that you can actually write off. Education is a tax write off. This is education. Do with that information what you will. If you want to write off $7 or $15 a month to learn how to make more money, I would do it. I would, but I'm not going to tell y'all what to do. But I do want to say salute to my Patreon guys. I will have more content for you guys tomorrow. In terms of my YouTube folks, I appreciate y'all. What I said on Twitter and Facebook and all that shit yesterday was real. Niggas is more impressed with people falling off crates, breaking their neck than actually learning how to run a bag up. Y'all can't show me 3 stocks that I've talked about in the last year that haven't made money. The only one I can think of is Coupon, and I already explained why Coupon was what it was. And I still think that if you look it up, everybody says Coupon is still a good buy long term. But every other stock that I've spoke about has at least doubled. So I just can't see how doubling up isn't as entertaining as niggas breaking their necks on crates. But for the motherfuckers who stuck around, salute, because y'all making money, because I know I sure am. But yeah, shout out to my Patreon guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. YouTube guys, we will see you guys Thursday. Y'all have a good rest of the day.